What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and it's that vlog day once again. That's right, it's Tuesday, October 4th, and once again, I'm a little bit late with vlog day, but this time I have a valid excuse. I was at an event this weekend for a very important cause, which we'll be talking about in just a second here. But as far as the topics for tonight goes, we have news and updates at the top of the hour. Following that, we've got what I've been vaping on. We've got a beer segment tonight, which I'm pretty excited about. Then after that, we got a little bit of vape drama to talk about. Then we have the Coil art series, which I've been doing weekly. And finally, to cap it all off, we have some advocacy to talk about, some very important topics tonight, so pay attention. Go ahead and grab your favorite vape, grab a comfy chair, sit back, relax, and let's vape. All right, guys, so the first thing we're going to talk about today is some news and updates, just stuff I've been doing on the day-to-day. And the first thing we're going to talk about today is the CT Vapor Trail event. Now, this event was not this past weekend, but the weekend before that. And it was all to benefit the Connecticut chapter of SFATA, thrown by the people in the Connecticut area. All the shops and vendors and things like that came together and threw this event, which is really great. They did one last year, and this year they had Matt and V from Suck My Mod come out, as well as Zophie Vapes, and according to her, this was her first event, so it's really cool to see people from outside the area coming together and just supporting the local industry. As far as the event goes, the attendance was slightly down from the previous year. I was kind of expecting that because it seems to me like that's a kind of common theme when it comes to events after August 8th, which is really unfortunate. You know, I feel like people are almost like afraid to go out to these sort of things, but honestly, there's no reason to, you know, not to come to these events. It's really important that we all get together, and I really wish there was more of these type of events, just kind of maybe every other month or something like that, you know, just get together and swap mods and just talk shop and things like that, and just kind of get together and eat, drink, and be merry, basically. But overall, I think it was a great event. A lot of local support, got to meet a lot of cool people, talk to a lot of awesome people, and basically, you know, just sit there and talk to Matt and V for a while, which is great. So that all went off without a hitch, in my opinion. The next thing we're going to be talking about is Vapetoberfest. Now, this was the event that I went to last weekend on Saturday. We went out to Raynham, Massachusetts for e-cig Barn's Vapetoberfest event. Again, I would really like to see more of these type of local events. I really think it's important for us to all just kind of get together as a local community of vapors and just, you know, kind of communicate with each other just to see what's going on with people and what we can do and plan and stuff like that for the local fight. So Vapetoberfest was all to benefit the Right to Be Smoke-Free Coalition, which they raised, I think they raised a couple $1,000 for Right to Be Smoke-Free Coalition, which is great. The event was nice. It was in a hall, and there was, you know, a bunch of people there. There's vendors and things like that. There was food and, you know, beverages and everything. So, honestly, great little event. Really wish there was more like it. I think it was an appropriate amount of time, which is one of my only complaints when it comes to the Vapor Trail event was it's only 5 hours long. I would really like to see it go, you know, somewhat into the night. You know, they definitely have the facility for it. So I would really like to see something go on into the night a little bit, whereas with the Vapetoberfest, it was definitely the appropriate amount of time. I feel like by the end of it, people were a little bit tired, but honestly, it was just enough time to actually communicate with fellow vapors and things like that. So I had a lot of fun. You know, the guys from e-cig Barn throw a hell of an event. You know, they did a great job. Wayne and all those guys, their whole crew is super awesome and very professional. So it was just great to see those guys and catch up with them again. And not only that, you know, I feel like all the different vendors had a good time as well. So there you go. Next up, we have VCCTN. I know I've been talking about this for the past couple of vlogs, but it's important, you know. I will be traveling to VCC Tennessee later on this month. I think it's the 23rd and the 24th. I believe those are the right dates. If not, I'll make sure to correct it down there or something. But in any case, I will be there. Hope to see you guys there. If you're planning on attending, make sure you drop a comment below. Let me know so I can come up and shake your hand and everything. We can talk a bit or whatever. But yeah, I'm really excited for that event. Kevin Skipper always throws a flawless event. Everything runs super smoothly. He's actually worked it out now. He's been kind of priming people to the idea that he has to charge a sampling fee now, which is kind of understandable. It's a reasonable fee. I think it's like 15 bucks at the door, but that covers you for the entire weekend if you come back the second day. But I just feel like that's something that should be worked into every single event from now on. That way you're covered, you know, that way the FDA is not going to be, you know, breathing down the back of your neck or anything like that. So Kevin the Skipper has it all worked out. It should be a very smooth running event, which I'm really excited for. Can't wait to see you guys there. If you're planning on attending, I know I'm going to have a good time. My next little topic here is the Coil Art Hive Coil recap. Now, I did mention that I really was doubting the longevity of the coils because the coil, the area around the coil itself was dark. Now, I did decide to rip these coils open, and I'll be sure to put a picture up here of the results of that. But the cotton, I was pleasantly surprised to see that the cotton itself was completely white. It was just the little area right around the coil itself that was dark. So it wasn't killing the coils or it wasn't, you know, ruining the cotton or anything like that. It was just a little bit of darkening right next to the coil itself. So that's kind of a surprise, and I'm going to have to kind of retract my statement as far as that goes because I'm probably going to be doing this in every single one from here on out. I'm going to be ripping open a coil and posting a picture up there when I do that. So in this little recap area at the very least. So yeah, really happy about that fact. You know, I was kind of worried about those coils, and some of them were okay. You know, I wasn't too psyched overall with those coils, but I feel like overall they were not too bad. I have definitely seen some worse coil performance out there. Finally, the Muramasa preview. I've got this little Muramasa tank here. This is a RDTA from Japan. This is supposedly the first ever RDTA from Japan, and I will be reviewing it this week, so make sure you pay attention for that video. But yeah, this thing is pretty cool. I really like it. You saw it in the build video that I did last Friday, and I've been vaping on it ever since, and I gotta tell you, the airflow is nice and smooth. The heat is just right where I've got it. I haven't changed a thing about this build or anything like that, and I'm getting a great vape out of it. So I'm pretty happy with it. I'll tell you that in this little preview right in here. Pretty happy with this little device. One thing that I like about it is that it looks just really classy. I mean, it looks like a high quality, you know, refined piece of machinery. And I feel like the gold plating is going to hold up a lot better than, you know, some of the Chinese gold plating that I've seen. But not only that, it looks like it deserves to go on a high-end mod. You know, I definitely see people putting this on, you know, a nicer, higher-end mod, even though it's not a very expensive little tank. But the performance really speaks for itself, in my opinion. I feel like it deserves, you know, everything about it. You know, it's got that gold plating, which some would think is gaudy, but honestly, I like the look of it. It makes for really cool coil shots when you're posting on Instagram and stuff like that. But I really like the design as well. The air gap all the way around the outside of the build deck is a nice feature. It makes it incredibly easy to fill. I'm worried a little bit about leaking, seeing as how the airflow holes are sitting almost right on top of where there's a gap all the way down to the juice chamber down there. So I don't know about that, but if you keep this thing upright, I feel like you're not going to have a problem there whatsoever. As far as juice capacity and all that goes, could be more. It could be a little bit taller to increase the juice capacity, or maybe even a little bit wider. This thing is, I believe, 22 millimeters in diameter, so I really wish they made a slightly bulked up version of it. Just basically make the whole thing bigger, and I would be a little bit happier. But as a whole, I feel like this thing is a nice little device. And to top it all off, the flavor that I'm getting on these coils that I built in last week's Fresh Build Friday are absolutely top notch. I'm really stoked at the performance on these coils right here. So yeah, that about does it for news and updates and things of that nature. Let's go ahead and move on. So next up we have what I've been vaping on, and as per usual, we've got first of all the Rig Pig. Yes, the trusty old Rig Pig. I've pretty much been vaping this thing straight since I got it, and I think one of the reasons that's true is because I paid full price for this device, so therefore I feel like I need to get my money's worth out of it. But I have like month-old coils in here. These are the same coils I built in my last Rig Pig build video, and they're still going strong. So really, really happy with that. The batteries have been holding up great on this thing. I absolutely love the fact that I get, you know, a full day on batteries, and even at a 0.35 ohm build, I get a full day's out of a set of batteries, which is great. The juice that I've been vaping on is Bluebird. This is a 60 ml bottle. I actually combined 2 30 mils to make this thing, but don't get too excited out there, Bluebird fans. But I went through pretty much an entire 60 mil already. Big shout out to the guys at Bluebird. They gave me a couple of bottles at the Vapor Trail event. Loving the flavor as per usual. This is actually the first dessert I've ever ran through this device here, which is good. I was a little bit worried that it was going to be a little bit more muted or things of that nature, but honestly, I'm getting full flavor out of it, which I'm very happy to tell you guys that fact. And yeah, let's go ahead and have a vape. The next setup that I have running is the Relo with the Kennedy 24 2-post. Yes, I'm still vaping this exact same setup from my review video last week, but the performance on it is absolutely stellar. Same old coils I have in here, pretty much almost a month on these coils as well, which is great. You know, I just love the way you could just clean up nichrome and re-wick it, and it's just like brand spanking new. Honestly, I have not killed this set of coils yet, and hopefully they last a while longer because I get excellent flavor out of them. The Kennedy 24 compared to the regular 24 just seems to be a little bit more open as far as airflow is concerned. Plus I have a little bit more room as far as build space is concerned. So really, this is an ideal device for me personally. Like I said, if I could choose one device, one atomizer for the rest of my life, it would probably be this one right here, the Kennedy 24 2-post, because it just really just ticks all the boxes for me. It's absolutely perfect, and it's built to last. It's nice and solid. Just, I like everything about it. So there you go. In the tank, or in the RDA, I've got some of this fresh squeezed Fruit Vapes pineapple berries from Vapor Stockroom. Really good stuff for a pineapple vape. I was a little bit kind of on the fence about it because I'm not a huge pineapple fan, but really they did it justice with this one here. I gave it about, you know, a week and a half, 2 weeks to steep, and the flavor is just really popping right now, which I'm super stoked on. The flavor itself is nice and bright and light, and you get that really nice tartness out of that pineapple, which is kind of rare, I guess. Most of the time when you get pineapple, it just seems to have no bottom end of the flavor. It has the fruitiness to it, but there's really no sourness or tartness to it. This one really captures the tartness factor, and not only that, the berries in it are very prevalent. I thought the pineapple would mask it completely, but you really get that on the exhale, that nice light fruity berry kind of flavor. It's very satisfying. I'm absolutely loving it on this setup right now. I'm currently vaping it at 100 watts on a 0.12 staple alien build, and it's a little bit lighter, I guess. I could probably bump this thing up to 120, but I wanted to not really kill the flavor with a lot of heat. I like a slightly cooler vape, I guess. I mean, this is still probably pretty high on a normal person's heat scale, but for me, this is like a little bit lighter than I'm used to. Normally, I'd vape something like this about 120 watts, and I could probably even bump it all the way up to 150, but I'm not going to do that. So let's go ahead and have a vape on this one. Yeah, I'm definitely getting the vapor production I was looking for and the flavor that I'm looking for. Everything about it is just absolutely the right spot. I think I found my new favorite build on this thing, to tell you the truth. Hopefully I'll get that down for you guys so I can do a build video on it. Make sure, you know, you leave a comment if you want to see that build, the staple alien. I think it's pretty exciting, pretty fancy, and pretty cool to look at as well. So there you go. Next up, we have the Muramasa tank on the old Tempest 200 watt by Council of Vapor. Been vaping on this since I pretty much did the build video, and I'm using the same exact flavor in here. This is the pineapple berries by Fresh Squeezed. Yeah, you get a little bit of a different flavor out of this, and I think that's kind of curious. It's nice to see a little bit difference in flavor compared to you know, the dripper versus the tank. I'm almost getting a sweeter vape out of this one. It's a lot cooler, but I feel like that adds to the refreshing factor. Yeah, I'm just going to take a vape real quick and I'll talk about it a little bit more. So the pineapple in this one seems to be a little bit more sweet. Not quite as tart. You don't get quite the back end like you do on the dripper, but you get a little bit more of the berries. So like I said, I really like to see the difference in flavor based on, you know, the different setups that I have and everything like that. So it's really cool to see just the subtleties of the flavor come out a little bit more with this one here. I'll get to that one a little bit more in the full review. Obviously, I want to talk about it a lot more, but there's going to be a whole other video on it coming up this week, so make sure you pay attention for that. The next setup that I have is the Wraith by Kanthal Vapor with the Kennedy 25 squonker on top. Now, this is the same exact setup like you saw in my video there. I've been squonking this thing for a while now, and I've been loving it. Honestly, it's been a lot better than it has been in the past. So the difference that I did on this thing here is I built it a little bit higher resistance. I had a set of regular fuse Claptons on here, my normal standard fuse Clapton setup, which is 36 and 26 or 26 and 36 nichrome, and it was coming out to 0.2 ohms, and I figured that would be okay with 80 watts, but just didn't quite seem to reach the voltage that I like it at. So on here right now I have a 0.58 ohm dual Clapton setup. This is regular Coil Master pre-made wire that I use for this one here. Just pre-made standard Clapton wire. I think it's like 26 and 32 or 34 or something like that. But yeah, I just wanted a quick build for this thing here just to get it running again and hopefully save myself a little bit of battery life, which yeah, it does a little bit. I'm rocking it at 80 watts, which is a little bit high, I think. Honestly, I feel like I shouldn't have to rock this at 80 watts, but that's what I'm vaping it at, and it seems to be running just, you know, perfect, nice and smooth. Better than average, I would say. A little bit nicer than the fused Clapton coils, better flavor than a standard round wire build, and you know, overall I'm becoming a little bit more happy with it. Maybe I judged this little guy a little bit too harshly in my video on it, but honestly, you have to build it a very specific way in order to get the performance out of it. So take that into account whenever you're considering one of these box mods right here. But yeah, I've been squonking this thing, just a quick little splash of juice in there, and it's good to go. Haven't had any leakage issues or anything like that, so that's awesome. And yeah, I just kind of want to have a vape on this one. So it's definitely not perfect by any means, but at the same time, it's better than it was. So I'm definitely getting better performance than I was a few weeks ago when I did my full review on it. In the tank or in the bottle, whatever you want to say, is some Infinite Ohms flavor voltage. This is also put out by Vapor Stockroom. This is peach, berries, and cream. Now, this one I'm getting a lot of the peach and a little bit of the berry, and then a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of the cream. Maybe it's the setup that I've got, but honestly, it's a nice peach flavor. It's almost like a candy peach. It's a little bit artificially tasting, but I really don't mind. Honestly, I think it's a great flavor overall, so make sure you check that one out. Of course, links will be provided down in the section below. And my last little setup that I wanted to talk about today is this little guy right here. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's right. That's an eLeaf Eye Care. This is a nice little mini mod. I've been rocking this one for a couple of days now, and I really just wanted something that I could put a higher milligram in, and I didn't want to chuck any clouds for vaping in public and things like that. I tend to find it rude when I'm going around the streets and blowing huge clouds, because I don't want my vapor getting all over the place, and you know, people are going to start complaining and looking at me like I'm some sort of douchebag, and I'm not really down for that. So just having a little pocket thing like this puts out no more than, I would say, a normal analog cigarette, but it's definitely on the powerful side, which is something I really like about it. This is, I guess you could call this a preview for this little device too. I'm thinking about doing a full review on it, so of course, if you want to see that, drop a comment, all that good stuff. But yeah, I haven't really incurred too many issues with this. The only thing I would have to say about it negative-wise is sometimes if I just leave it sitting for an extended period of time, it'll, when I go to puff on it, I'll get a little bit of a gurgle. Not a huge issue for me personally. Usually what I do is I just go like that, flick it out, or maybe tap it over a paper towel or something like that. Gets any residual liquid that's left over in the actual air chamber out, and then it's good to go. So I get a nice smooth draw after that. I really like the fact that when you take off this little top cap thing here, you can actually use it as a wrench to adjust your coil. And not only that, it makes sure your airflow is sitting right in front of the little air hole there, which is a nice touch as well. In this little tank here, I've got some Steamery Liquid Repent. This is an oatmeal cookie tobacco flavor with caramel. Absolutely delicious. Before I had some Rope Cut in there. This is 12 milligram Skipper, which is a vanilla custard tobacco. I've been kind of switching these back and forth. I might mix a half a tank, one with the other, etc., etc. But absolutely loving the draw that I get off this one here. Let's just go ahead and show you guys some vapor production. So as you can see, I'm actually getting pretty decent performance out of it, which I was kind of shocked at because the coil that's in here is a 1.1 ohm, and obviously this little mod here doesn't have a ton of wattage output or anything like that. So really happy with the performance of this little device so far. I'm getting the good strong nicotine throat hit that I was looking for out of it, and it's almost the equivalent of, you know, maybe a 3 milligram, maybe a little bit higher. I'd say maybe a 4 or a 5 milligram. A little bit stronger than I'm used to, but honestly, it's what I was looking for. I really wanted something that would give me the feeling that I was smoking. I want to be able to recommend one of these devices for someone looking to quit smoking, and there's a lot of little features on this that I really enjoy. It does have a little tiny LED light on the bottom of the tank here, so when you're actually puffing on this thing, it glows, and it will change color if it's dying, which is great. Plus, when you plug it in, it has a red LED on the bottom, which then shuts off when it's done charging, and it only takes about 45 minutes to charge, and I get about 4 to 6 hours of battery life out of it. So all around, I would say stellar performance. They also make a mini version of this, which I kind of also want to try because that one is about the same size as a Juul, but it is a open system. So yeah, really digging these new little e-leaf eye cares. I want to try to get in a few of the other ones like the MyJet and the Von Earl and the Sync, and maybe even try out a Juul for you guys and maybe do some sort of comparison video. Yeah, just let me know if you guys want to see something like that, but that's what I was thinking on doing. And these things are only like 20 bucks or probably cheaper online. And yeah, I think it's a great value for your money, and it's just an all-around great little device. That's all I'm going to say about it for now until I do a full review video on it. I think I might end up doing that. But anyways, yeah, that about tops it off. That's what we got rocking. Let's move on to some beer time. It's beer time! All right, let's get into it. I'm excited. Hope you guys are too. Glad to be back drinking some beer. And yeah, look what I found. I got this little Moon Mountain keychain. I've got the Moon Mountain t-shirt on right now, and I knew that would come in handy. It's been sitting in my desk for quite some time. So today we have this Old Rasputin Russian Imperial Stout. One of my favorites. I've had this time and time again, but this is by North Coast Brewing Company. It's 9% alcohol by volume, and it has a 95 rating on Beer Advocate. So definitely a highly rated beer. One of my all-time favorites. I know Grim Green absolutely loves this one as well. We actually had one in Dallas together, which was really cool. But yeah, this is a nice Russian Imperial Stout. The weather is getting a little bit chilly at night here in New England, so I figured what better time to break out the stouts than now. And let's go ahead and get into it. Why not? Yes. And this, hey, it works really well. There you go. Moon Mountain, get your keychains. Not sure where they're available, but check it out. So let's go ahead and do a nice little pour here. And right off the bat, I'm noticing the dark color. This one is super dark. One would say black. The head on it, obviously it's a little bit of a darker tint. It's kind of a brownish, whitish brownish hue to it. Bubbles, there's a lot of little tiny bubbles. There's a lot of bigger bubbles. Kind of a mixed bag when it comes to the head on this one here. But it leaves a nice white lacing on the outside of the glass. So yeah, let's go on and smell this one here. I get like a nice caramel kind of richness to it. and it's almost not quite oaky. I don't think I would say oaky, but it's almost earthy, and you get a little tiny tinge of that like bitterness, almost a tiny bit of hoppiness as well, just on like the little tiny hint of it right on the end there. I can't wait any longer. I think I'm gonna have to try this one out. You know, on the palate, it's actually kind of it's not what you would expect out of a beer this dark. It's actually kind of lighter, I guess. It's almost like a Guinness consistency. It's not like a thicker kind of beer or anything like that. It definitely has notes of like chocolate, really dark, rich chocolate. A lot of maltiness to this one. It's very, very bitter, but I love it. That's the best way I could describe it. Yeah, I'm noticing that really nice lacing on the edge of the glass there. Just kind of hangs there. It doesn't move, which I'm a huge fan of that. You know it's a good old Imperial when that happens. And this one is a bit high on the alcohol percentage. It is an Imperial Stout, so it is 9%. And I feel like the alcohol bite to it is appropriate. You know, it kind of counteracts the bitterness, and it kind of accentuates the subtle tones in this one, as far as the, you know, slight bit of hoppiness, I guess, on the end of it. But it brings out the chocolatey, caramelly kind of notes to this one. Yeah, so mouthfeel, like I described, it's almost like the same consistency as a Guinness. It's a bit like you would expect this one to be really rich and coating your mouth and everything like that, which it kind of leaves a lingering taste, which is not a bad thing at all. It almost leaves a bitterness on your tongue itself, and that's kind of something that's, I feel like, appropriate for a stout like this one here, and it's just nice and rich. That's why I like this. So one more sip, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's just heaven right there. Honestly, for a nice crisp fall day or anything like that, this is the beer I would choose, absolutely. Yeah, let's go ahead and pair it. I think this one would do well. This is the oatmeal cookie, the steamery Repent flavor. I feel like this one would kind of add a bit of sweetness to the bitterness and the kind of almost chalkiness to it, I guess. Like, that's kind of how I would attribute it. It's almost like a dark chocolate kind of feeling. Not quite the milk chocolate. Milk chocolate would be like nice and smooth and kind of roll off your tongue. This one here almost leaves a little bit of a chalkiness. So let's go ahead and pair this one up here. Oh yeah, that just brings the whole thing together. You start off with a nice bit of sweetness here, and then you get the nice bit of bitterness, and then you like exhale completely, and it just kind of rolls together. It makes like a caramel, oatmeal cookie, custardy, chocolatey, just goodness. That pairs really nicely. Honestly, with darker beer like this, I feel like the tobaccos are where it's at. And you know, there's tons of different tobacco flavors to choose from, so I'm gonna have to experiment with different ones for this little guy here, and just to basically pair with my beer. Let's go ahead and have one more sip and a quick vape. Yeah, one thing I would say is vape before you drink. That way you kind of have the sweetness left on your tongue from the vape, and then you get that bitterness in, and it just kind of melds together. Taking a vape after you drink it doesn't do much, because your palate's already being attacked by those bitter tastes in your mouth, and then you're trying to sweeten it up, which is very difficult to do. So one word of recommendation for this one here would be vape sweet and then drink, because the other way around doesn't quite work. So vape before you drink instead of the other way. There you go. Let's just, I need to do one more sip, I'm sorry. Yeah, so this is definitely one of my all-time favorite stouts, especially during these crisp winter months. I really like to cozy up with a couple of these old Rasputins, and they definitely get me through the long nights, that's for sure. But yeah, that about does it, guys, so let's go ahead and move on to our next segment. Vape drama alert, that's right, we got some hot off the presses vape drama for you guys. Really, it's not really necessary to call it vape drama because it's really not such a big thing, but I felt like this was the most appropriate category for this type of segment here. This is what I call UL versus ceramic coils. Now, I saw an Instagram post today that said, do you vape ceramic coils? Click here. And it was a UL post. So I was kind of curious about it. So I copied and pasted the link and it brought me to their Facebook page, which had this big in-depth study into ceramic coil technology. They claim that ceramic coils not only have impurities, but it can also shard, similar to the problems people were having with the silica wicking material of the original Atlantis coils before they went to organic cotton. Now, I read their little blurb, and it seemed, you know, kind of logical to me, and they showed the evidence of the magnified coils and things of that nature. And yeah, I guess I could see what the problem with ceramic coils is. Honestly, I wasn't never a big fan of ceramic coils, and I really didn't find myself, you know, wanting that sort of technology. Obviously, everything has to be vetted with this industry here. So, you know, we went from, like I said, the Atlantis coil drama a while ago. Then, boom, they switched over to organic cotton like almost instantly. And we're kind of having that same issue today with the newer technology. New technology comes out, people say, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. And then people shoot it down for being dangerous and unhealthy and things of that nature. So with the growth of vaping technology will also come problems with that technology. So for instance, Kanthal versus nickel versus titanium versus nichrome versus stainless steel, all the different types of wire out there. Dr. Farcelino says it's not good to preheat your coils. Don't heat up your coils to the point where they glow. And I can definitely see that. Anytime you heat metal to the point when it glows like that, you're going to change a little bit of the, you know, chemistry of it. So it's going to maybe potentially leach out certain chemicals that are inside the wire and things of that nature. Like I know there's toxic salts inside titanium. So if you heat that up to white hot, they can leach out and get all over your coils. And that's definitely not a good thing. They are toxic. So this is kind of along the same lines. According to their little study, these coils are very brittle, especially when heated multiple times, and they can end up coming loose. Some little fibers can come loose and get onto their cotton, and they can eventually inhale them, which is definitely not a good thing. So like I said, personally, I've never been a huge fan of ceramic coils, never been freaking out, oh my God, it's the best technology ever. But I feel like some people out there, maybe one of you guys watching right now, it was all about the ceramic coils. And I feel like UL may be doing something as far as, you know, a defense to their coils being kind of crappy. But they may be trying to slander other brands as well. I'm not really sure. They said they tried the top 3 biggest brand names out there for the ceramic coils. I personally could not identify them. I'm sure you guys can. If you want to check it out for yourself, just check out the links in the description there. I'll have it down there for you. But at the end of the survey, there's a coupon code as well. So you go through the whole thing, answer a couple of questions, and you get a coupon code. So I don't know. It's something to look into. I felt like it was you know, worthwhile to mention here. I want to know your guys' opinions. Do you like ceramic coils? Do you use ceramic coils? Do you hate ceramic coils? Let me know what you guys think. I want to start a discussion down there in the comments. So just let me know your thoughts, and I'd love to get back with you guys on that topic. Hopefully we see this story develop a little bit more, and that way I can kind of find out what this was all about. But at the end of the day, that's a little tidbit of vape drama for you. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Anyways, let's go ahead and get on to some more important topics. All right, so next up we have the Coil Art Coil Review series. This is one I've been doing for the past couple of weeks in my vlogs, talking about the Coil Art coils, and this week is something pretty basic. It's 0.5 ohm Kanthal coils, but I felt like it was worth mentioning because these are the ones that they're going to be keeping around for a while. The e-liquid that we use for these tests is Ampere by Infinite Ohms, another Vapor Stockroom. Really awesome flavor, but love the testing just based on the flavor alone. But we've got 2 tanks that we're going to be checking out today. The Kanger Sub-Tank Mini and the Aspire Cleto. And these are both 0.5 ohm coils. And for the Cleto, we're going to start off with the Cleto. The resistance came in at 0.53 ohms, and it was kind of bouncing around between 0.51 and 0.53. So I'd say an average would be 0.52, but there you go. The wattage that I used on average was 60 watts. I find that to be kind of like the sweet spot as far as the vapor production without getting a burnt taste or anything like that. And my notes on this one say much higher wattage can be used as compared to the Kanger, but the flavor is much more muted. And that's kind of detracting from this coil a lot. I feel like this coil deserves a little bit more flavor. The Cleto has always given me excellent flavor off of these stock coils that come with them. And if I find something that has less performance, then I'm going to be disappointed. Definitely a little bit disappointed with this one here. So for the flavor, I gave it a 5 out of 10. For the vapor, I give it an 8 out of 10. And overall, I give it a 7 out of 10. So really just kind of lackluster overall, I guess. And yeah, just not too happy with it. I don't know. It's just not really my thing. But let's go ahead and have a vape on this one real quick. So as you can see, I get excellent vapor production out of it, which is no question there. I mean, I'm able to vape this at a 0.5 ohm at 60 watts, so really no complaints about the vapor production portion. It's the flavor that really kills me. So I kind of was hoping for a little bit more flavor out of that one. Definitely less flavorful than the stock Cleto coils. Moving on to the Kanger Subtank Mini. This one here came in at 0.52 on the money and remains there. We are using it today at 40 watts. I found anything even 45 watts or anything like that is a bit too high for this one, so I'm going to keep it around 40. My notes say that the flavor and vapor is on point, even though only lower wattage can be used. So, yeah. Just a little bit different. I really like the flavor out of this, which I never thought I would say for a Kanger Subtank Mini. You know, you would think that this one you're not going to get nearly as good of a flavor as something like a Cleto tank, but I honestly get a really decent flavor out of it. So ratings on this one, for the flavor, I gave it an 8 out of 10. For the vapor, a 6 out of 10, and overall, 8 out of 10. I actually bumped up the overall 1 extra point just because I feel like this one deserves it. So there you go. Let's go ahead and have a vape off of this one real quick. So not bad all around. I gotta say that the vapor production is pretty much on par of what I was expecting out of it. So my final little overall statement here, surprisingly, I'm much happier with the Kanger tank, although the draw is much more restricted. You get a satisfying amount of vapor from the Cleto, however, the flavor is bland and almost non-existent. That might be a little bit extreme, but meh. For the Kanthal coils, especially at the half ohm resistance, they were both surprisingly able to handle a little bit higher wattage. So I'm assuming these are single core or single coil Kanthal. I'm not sure if it's a dual coil. If it's a dual coil, then that kind of flip-flops, and I was expecting much greater performance out of it. But I guess we'll have to wait and see next week when we dissect these things and I give you my overall kind of longevity test on them. But yeah, just real simple, quick 2-tank review for this week. You can find all this information on the database that I have in the description below if you want to check that out and read it over for yourself. You can also go back and read the other coil descriptions. I did the notch coils and then the Hive coils. Next week, we've got something a little bit more interesting, I promise, for you guys, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. All right, you guys, now it's time for some advocacy. Now, my first topic is kind of generic. I just want to get this discussion going about this whole thing here, which is intellectual property and cash grab e-liquid. Now, what I'm referring to is those ones out there. I'm not going to show pictures or anything like that because I don't want to give them the time of day, but I'm sure you guys have all seen them. The Pokemon juice, there's Capri Sun packaged juice, there's Nintendo, and most of, like, any nostalgic candy you can imagine. There's a rip-off of that, those kind of logos and those kind of packaging. And I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts and your guys' opinions on this matter. Personally, I feel like, you know, as a graphic designer, I feel like people can do better out there. Honestly, it doesn't take long to come up with something original. You know, it doesn't really take much thought and much effort to actually come up with something that no one else has done before. A quick Google search and you can find out if your name has been taken or your website's been taken or anything like that that you're thinking of in your head. So really just try to think outside the box and think of what type of market you're looking to go after and that kind of thing. Don't just rip off the next hottest brand and things like that and just use their logos and use their intellectual property. I mean, let's face it, someone spent hours and hours and hours thinking up their original designs. Maybe you can do the same thing. Really, it's not that hard. I feel like this is part of what the FDA is going to be looking for when it comes to actually regulating this industry in the e-liquid. And they're going to be going after these companies that are directly ripping off like cartoon logos, candy logos, things of that nature, and say we're marketing to children. And that is definitely what we do not need in this industry right now. As an advocate myself, I really want to push people away from buying these flavors. I know they may seem enticing, they may seem like they're going to taste great and all that stuff, but really, I can't stress how important it is to not give them your business, because giving them your business means they're going to continue doing the same thing because it's going to work for them. And yes, you know, Instagram marketing campaigns and things like that can work for people, and it does work for people, but should it? In my opinion, no. I really would like to see people move away from that and move on to something with a little bit more adult-themed kind of branding and that sort of stuff. I mean, honestly, all it takes to not be child-friendly packaging is basically something that doesn't look like food. You know, the Capri Sun flavors come in like this little pouch that looks like one of the little pouches that Capri Sun comes in. And the Pokey Juice and stuff like that, that's like literally they just copied and pasted it right off the internet. I mean, they can't get more blatant with their infringement on that. Other than that, like the Nintendo, it's pretty damn close to the Nintendo logo. Too close for my comfort. I refuse to review something that is really child-friendly and that sort of stuff. I really don't like any e-liquid logos or anything like that to have cartoon eyes on it or anything like that. I know we saw Lost Art go through a big old transition from their cartoon labels to what they are now, and I do applaud them for that. However, they kind of should have thought of that in the first place. Not only was their logo copyright infringement on the LA Dodgers, but also the really cartooniness to it. But that was a couple of years ago, and that was back in the time when we felt like we could get away with anything. So I really want to stress it to you guys out there. I can't really stress it enough through a video, but really don't give them the time of day. Don't give them the marketing. Don't even share the photos to the advocates or anything like that. We know it's out there, and the less press that we give them, the better. We just want to look the other way and ignore it, and hopefully it will go away. You know, I feel like Grim Green and I talked about this a little bit, and I sent him a link to the Simpsons episode where the advertising monsters were destroying the city, and all you had to do was look away, don't pay attention to them, and they disappear. Because when you don't pay attention to a brand or a company or something like that, you don't give them your business, you don't give them the time of day, you don't give them the likes on Instagram or anything like that, they're going to disappear. And that's what really should happen to these guys, because you're hurting our industry, and we need all the support we can get. We need all the ammunition that we can get, and we need to stop giving the FDA said ammunition. Obviously, they're going to take that packaging and show it to, you know, the courts and things like that, and they're going to have a lot of evidence against our industry, which we do not need that right now, especially in this trying time of our industry. Anyways, moving forward, we have the VTA Thunderclap. Sorry, had to do it. I had to do it. I love saying Thunderclap. I felt like it was necessary. But what this is, what Thunderclap is basically like a social media marketing campaign. And what it does is basically barrages Congress with a whole bunch of tweets and social media messages and things like that, just showing that we're out here and we're vaping. Now, this ends on October 27th, so participation is strongly advised. Get in on it before October 27th, because that's when they're going to be rolling this whole thing out. So basically, the title right here at the top of the page is Tell Congress #WeAreVaper, and that's what it's all about. You know, it's telling them how many people are out here, how many vapors there are, and we're out here on social media pages fighting for our rights to vape. So already we have a social reach of 485,915, which is great, but it could be 10 times that amount. We could have 4 million people tweeting, and it takes nothing more than a couple of clicks to link it with your Facebook page, your Twitter, and or your Tumblr. So really, just go and sign up. Honestly, it takes no thought. You shouldn't have to, think twice about this. You go on the website, you sign up through Facebook, Twitter, or Tumblr, and there you go. That's 3 more little pieces of support that you're giving to our industry, and it would really mean a lot to everyone out here as vapors. Basically, it says, the tweet says, "Vapor is under attack. Join the We Are Vapor campaign and tell Congress to support Cole Bishop." You can share that on your own social medias and whatnot, but make sure you get in before October 27th at 11:30 a.m. because that is when these tweets and these messages are going out. So really important, you guys. You got to get involved and help fight the FDA and help tell Congress that we need vaping. We need the Cole Bishop Amendment passed. We need to move that predicate date up. And we need to fight against the FDA unfair regulations. That's all there is to it. And all it takes is a couple of clicks, and there you go. You're done. You've done your little part. And that's kind of all we can do at this point in time. Obviously, you got to give your money, your funding, and everything like that. But also just get out there on social media and be a Twitter warrior because that's what's really going to help us out in the long run. But yeah, next up we have the lawsuit being moved to October 11th. They've actually moved it up a few days. It was supposed to start on October 19th. They have now moved it up to October 11th, which is, I think I can't wait for it to start because that's really going to be the jump off point, and we get to see kind of what the FDA's big plan is. Obviously, they've written their responses and everything like that to the lawsuit itself, but once this thing all gets started, we get to see their actual defense. So kind of excited for this. What this means as a whole, not really much because it's only about a week ahead of time that they're going to be doing this. But the sooner it gets started, the sooner we can get this rolling. Basically, I mean, it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of money and everything like that to keep this fight going. But I personally can't wait to see how things play out over the next 6 months. Because that's really realistically what we're looking at when it comes to anything happening with the FDA lawsuit. Also on the topic of advocacy, we have the Right to Vape tour kicking off in Vegas, which is really cool. All the top advocates in the country just getting together. We got Alex Clark and Greg Connolly and Kat York and a whole bunch of other people fighting for our rights to vape, just traveling around the country, giving speeches and talking to people about, the FDA regulations and all that good stuff. So really awesome to see something like that kick off, and hopefully they do really well and spread the word of advocacy, because really that's what it's all about. So there you go. I just wanted to mention that really quick, and let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. All right, you guys, the last little thing I want to talk about is for all you UK vapors out there watching this video. So first of all, I would like to give some love to the VapeFindr app. They actually approached me and said, hey, we want to show your videos off on our website and our app. All we ask in return is a shout out here and there. So this is definitely me showing them some love. Make sure you download it right now on the Google Play or App Store. It's available in your marketplace of choice. But yeah, shout out to all you UK vapors out there watching this video right now. If you found me through the VapeFindr app, make sure you drop a comment. I want to know how many of you out there found me through this little app right here. It's really cool. You can find, companies, you can find the top deals, vape shops in your area. You can get reviews such as my own, and you can check out their online website as well, which is definitely a really cool thing. I really like apps like this popping up. Honestly, I kind of wish there was more like it in the US. Really, we don't have much out there. I think this is a really well-made app. It's gorgeous. It's got a lot of features on there. And yeah, it's just really cool. You can click through, check out the companies if you want to. Just goes to show, like, they give a little backstory on some of them and stuff like that. You can click through to their websites. The deals, you can find local deals if you want to get some cheap vape gear, obviously. Everyone's looking for a good deal. Vape shops, you can find a local vape shop, and it covers, actually covers a few different countries. Looks like Great Britain, the US, Germany, Italy, and France. So it has quite a few countries in there. That is awesome. I really like that. And yeah, reviews. You're going to find my videos under the reviews here. Oh, look, there's one. Oh, there's one. But yeah, so make sure you check out that section if you haven't already. And of course, you can go to their online store as well. So that's pretty cool. I think it's a very well-made app. I think it's a great little tool for all you guys out there in the UK to find what's hot and what's good right now in the vapor industry. So there you go. Make sure you check out the VapeFindr app on Google Play or App Store. Also check them out on Instagram. I'll have all the links in the description below for you guys, of course, as always. But anyways, guys, that about does it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Of course, leave me comments in the box below of anything that we talked about in today's episode. I'd love to get the discussion going down there with you guys. Also, check out the advocacy links in the description. I've got them down there for you, so you fight for your right to vape. You don't have to do everything, but you do have to do something. Also, check me out on my different social media pages. I have Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you follow me on there. Like my page on Facebook. Check out my Snapchat. And if you want to give me a couple of bucks on Patreon, that would be awesome as well. Thank you guys so much for joining me once again for vlog time. And as always, vape on.